This video is going to be all about this guy, the Great Omi. So this is a toy that I made for an Instagram art show called Showdown Kaiju v Robo. This was a show hosted by Kajiki Toys and Cave Dweller Toys, Cajun Cave. As you can see, I went more down the Kaiju route. So this guy is based off of a real person called Horace Riddler, whose stage name was the Great Omi, and he also went by the Zebra Man. Horace was a freak show and sideshow performer who was heavily tattooed by George Burchett in the late 20s, early 30s. He claimed that the tattoo cost him £10,000, and George Burchett, the tattooer that did it, claimed it was actually only £3,000 and he was never paid in full. This was the initial sketch that I did. So this, like I said, is based on Horace, the Great Omi, and also the Japanese Frankenstein. So in the Japanese movies, Frankenstein's monster is not just a guy made from pieces and brought back, he's a giant. And there's this picture that I'll put up where he has this really cool stance where his elbows are in and, you know, his arms are really long and out to his sides. And that initially was the kind of shape that I wanted to go for. So for this figure, it was the first time I'd fully hand sculpted a piece and articulated toy. So you can see he has his removable club which glows in the dark, and then his arms are pegs with a magnet on the end and a magnet inside there. So it's not a friction fit, but it's strong enough just about to hold his arm up with his club. And then the head is another magnet. So yeah, it was definitely quite challenging using clay to make this guy. I kept finding that as I would work on one side, I'd be ruining the back side where I was either holding it or leaning on the desk. One scary thing about making this from clay was that once I'd made the mold, removing the clay from the mold destroyed it. So I really had one shot and had to really hope that it was going to be okay. And as always, I left it quite last minute. Thankfully, I managed to get a pretty decent pull. This was actually the first resin copy that I pulled from that mold. So for the tattoos, these are all hand painted with a brush. I looked at a few reference photos of his real tattoos and did my best to sort of approximate the designs on the front and the back. And a lot of his tattoos are mirrored, so I did my best to match them up. Like I said, I made this quite last minute, so I was painting it the day that I was posting it. So no pressure, you know. I cast this out of a semi-translucent green resin, and then his clothing was painted with UV reactive paint. Hopefully you'll be able to see. All painted in UV to really give him that crazy radioactive kind of look. I didn't have time to gloss coat him when I originally posted the photos. I think he looks a lot better for it now. Now he's had one. Like the black on the tattoos looks a lot darker, not being a matte finish. And also, this is probably not the best torch to show it, but I've had him stood in the window and the light coming in behind really makes him just glow gently. It looks really cool. Again, going for that super radioactive look. That was the premise that I used for the caption, was that Horace Riddler stepped in a pile of, you know, toxic waste and then grew giant and angry. Typical kaiju tropes. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of me painting this. I was a little bit stressed out doing it, if I'm honest, so I didn't want to make it even more stressful and difficult trying to get a camera up in there while I was doing it. Yeah, this show was back in November of 2025. It was November 20th, and there were 53 artists total, including myself. So it was quite a big show. Lastly, I just want to say that I've been really enjoying taking part in these online shows. They really give me momentum to finish a project, and the more the merrier. I think more people should get into it. If you're even mildly interested in, making a toy or miniatures or painting an existing toy or, kit bashing. There's so many angles that you can get involved in this. This is my 4th show that I've taken part in. It's actually I think it's the 3rd Cajun Cave show I've done. So 3 of the 4 shows are all hosted by the same people, and they're open to anyone. If you're watching this when it first comes out, there are a few more shows coming up that I'm going to be taking part in. So if you'd like to follow me on Instagram at @dungeon_sweeper, you can keep updated with those.